Okay. Hi there. I just want to give you a raw, unfiltered opinion on Highguard when still sort of fresh and new. And I mean, I'm sure you've read all about how bad the launch was, or how many mistakes there were, or how difficult it was to get in lobby or to actually play. How not so well optimized this game was, or all this other stuff. But I'm gonna start on a different note, and I'm not sponsored by anyone, obviously. But I just want to get to the good aspects of this game first. There are not many, but it's still fair. It would be fair to highlight them and talk about them briefly before we go into the nitty-gritty stuff. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the game. I have 4 hours played, which is not a lot, I understand, but it was quite a good experience overall, and I would give it a 6.5 out of 7, because I myself didn't experience any bugs, I didn't experience any server issues, I didn't experience any matchmaking issues. Overall, the experience was very smooth. It was very pleasant. I have to admit, I'm not a big first-person shooter player, which I think will give you a different experience to the more seasoned players like Shroud and Ninja and all that, those people that really enjoy those type of games. But I am a competitive player. I enjoy competitive games. It's just not I'm not a when it comes to first person shooters, I don't want to spend time grinding. When I play first person shooters, even a 3v3 arena type of game, I want to have fun and I want to do cool stuff and focus on the cooperation aspect rather than eventually when this game gets ranked, go on ranked and grind. That's not my thing. My thing is in first person shooters is to get that co-op feeling ready. And yes, the video that you're watching right now, the gameplay, I am playing, sorry, on my own. It was a random lobby. So that's that. So the first thing, the visuals. The visuals are quite nice. They're not, anything that will immediately stand out. However, they do have an art style and they stick to it, and that's something that is not so common anymore, I think. As I said, you can see my FPS count. It didn't lag that much, but then again, I have like a 4070 Super and like Ryzen 5. It's not the best PC ever, but it's decent. So and I was on high settings with the ELSS enabled, and I got only like 110 FPS. But we'll get to the optimization part later, I think. So I personally enjoyed the art style. I enjoyed the combat VFX. I enjoyed how they highlighted the spawns of this shield breaker and stuff. It was nice. It was very clear, and the UI element and all that stuff was kind of. It was good. It was just good. It wasn't anything spectacular, but these visuals were nice. I have a feeling, just in general, that this game is a mixture of many different games, as you've, I'm sure, seen already, highlighted online by people, that it's a mix of a highly competitive game and like Apex. The map is huge. you get to loot, you get to, you know, siege, you get to plant a bomb. Like there's a bit of everything in there, which can make the gameplay fun, if you're not focused on, you know, ranked and, you know, who's going to win, even though, you know, that's the main purpose of the this match, I guess. But then again, the gameplay loop is not, it's not horrendous. It's not as bad as people seem to say and seem to think. In my personal opinion, for a casual player, it's definitely enough. And it might say something about me, it might say something about my gaming habits, but personally, the gameplay loop of like, first you gear up, you can choose to farm resources or just farm and look for better gear. You can then fight for an objective, that the enemies can intercept you. You can fight before, like you see right now, you can fight before actually getting to the siege, before planting the shield breaker or whatever, and you sort of play the capture the flag type of thing, which can be fun. But then again, it can be one-sided when the matchmaking is not so kind, which I also understand. And then when you get to plant the shield breaker, you know, you're tasked with raiding the base and planting a bomb, defending the bomb, and, you know, and then the round sort of resets and you get to loot again and again, and it sort of repeats until you finish enemy's base. Which, then again, in its design, it's not that bad, but the execution is a bit different. I think the map, now it's the part where I'm going to start nitpicking and thinking and talking about what I would improve or change or just in general. So first, I would make the map a little bit smaller, and that's the one thing, because it's 3v3, which means I'm playing on a nice map and it was huge, and surprisingly this much I would stumble upon enemies way more often than any other map, which sort of made me want to rethink this point. But then again, this is not like a common thing. You need to look for enemies usually, or in my prior matches. The second thing, as you see right now, when you're starting the raid or the siege, I would imagine it would be better if it lasted the period between the raid and the actual raid, when you defeated the enemies and you're waiting for it. It lasts a bit too long. It's a spectacular effect, and I love it. But just the point of like, okay, we're waiting. Maybe it's for tactical reasons. Maybe they've tested it, and you know, I trust the designers that they've made the right call. But I think personally, it doesn't matter to me. It would be okay if it only lasted like 10 or 15 seconds. Then the gunplay, it's not the worst. It can be quite dynamic. There are a bunch of weapon types, but aiming is really difficult on mouse and keyboard combo. I have not played on a controller because I suck at using controller. But I've heard that, again, from way better players than myself, that mouse and keyboard is just horrendous and it's not a pleasant experience. So, yeah, I would definitely try and improve mouse and keyboard gunplay. With the characters, I have not played every character because I want to get good at least one, to like fully understand and see how far I can take the game, or you can take the game when you know what you're doing. So I've played this guy with an ice shield, and I played a bunch of others. I like the ice person the most. But then again, the character's identity is not strong enough for me to remember this guy's name, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but you know, it sort of highlights the approach of either the design or, you know, or myself, that it's not really that important for me. This match was, I think, around 20 minutes, which is fine, but the previous matches lasted even 45 minutes, which I think is in the current state of everything, and how gamers work. 45 minutes is a bit too long, so and it's, again, my personal opinion, 45 minutes is a bit too much. We had not in this match, but in a different match, we had a lot of back and forth, and it was way too long for me. And we're getting into, like, you know, very, and then to lose it all in, like, you know, after an hour is just not the greatest feeling. The one thing I noticed people saying is they didn't get to load in, they can't load in, you know, issues with a secure boot not being recognized. I get that, that's bad. I've seen people complain about the art style as well, not having any depth, or, you know, it wasn't anything specific, that it's so generic. But then again, I like it. It's good enough for that. I understand that people don't necessarily like the mixture of everything, which in some people's head might mean the general lack of direction and the lack of identity. But then again, it's, you know, I think going for a bit of everything in this case sort of worked, and it gives you, if players are actually coordinated, a fun experience. And I think this is definitely a game where you would prefer to have a voice comms enabled, because then you can coordinate your attacks and all that. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about it. I've seen it already dipped from like 90k at its highest player count yesterday to like 15k now, which is not a great sign, obviously. Listen, I don't know what I would do to change it, because if people don't like the actual design of having a bit of everything, then, you know, you can't really change your whole game. But I think this game was set on the wrong path, and from the beginning, from Jeff advertising it during the Game Awards, having this game receive so much spotlight, I think put it on a pedestal before people could actually say, oh hey, listen, there's this game. It's sort of a mix of everything. It's not perfect, but, you know, if we play in a team with friends, it can be fun, even though it's not perfect. So let's give it a go. And I think if this game had a more natural launch, not something that was so... People were waiting for it to fail. And the game obviously didn't help itself with lots of issues, but this game had huge potential in my opinion. And it still has, but given the bad reception that it got over the first few days, it might already be over for it. But you know, we've seen comeback stories, and I think this is not a terrible game. This is a game that needs a bit of rework to again, servers, that's the first thing. You need to have your players able to play. That's the first thing. You cannot, you know, that's an obvious thing. I think the mount mechanic is not something that you get rid of. Maybe you can get the maps a bit smaller. You would make the game a bit faster because of that. You need to tweak gameplay because, you know, I'm not a great shooter, as you can see, but if people are playing first-person shooters or just shooters every day, complain that it must be something to it. And yeah, I think that's my first impression. Listen, I wouldn't cross this game. I wouldn't say that it's done. I wouldn't say it's over. I would say watch out for it. Watch out for the updates. Watch out for any news from the developers. Give them a second chance, a third chance, because I think this game has real potential, and if tweaked a bit, it can be really fun. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, if you played it, if you intend to play it, and yeah, thanks for listening, and see you in a bit. Cheers.
They're attacking!
Disappearing.
I'm taking some damage.
At the anchor zone. Planting the bomb.
Your bomb will take the win.
This wall
Defend
with
it.
breeze. Fired. Took one out. Going here. Grenade out.
One down.
Severed a soul. Reloading. Ice wall up.
One hell of a fight. Land secured. Great work, team.